Prophets on the pulpit, Fox News calling me a culprit, a rebel with a musket. I body you in public. I fight for injustice like man, fuck it. You can catch me on the back of a camel strapped like Rambo. The cannon got more than enough ammo. First fucker to call me Sambo, it'll sound like my trans blew. I got an army that'll take out yours. Try to act like Hitler or Stalin, it's all out war. Try to act like Leopold, I'll put the heat in your jaw. Squeeze the trigger, blow your cheek on the floor. The Greeks call me Osiris, but my name Esau. We on the Silk Road trying to cop gunpowder and more. I'm like Jim Kelly in China, round house your whole lineup. Shoot your hand off for throwing them gang signs up. White supremacy, the enemy, it's time to mount up and get your body count up like landmines we blowing up.
We tried to be more, but they Freddie greatest before. Top floor, Fred Hampton the door. Handed out raw to all of the poor on executive calls. Kill cock when told to take it to court. That's why my army of melanin skin friends have been your men. We shoot 10 shots off top, just send them in. Latin pride with black power up in the mix. Diamond cut, tourmaline rocks, color the links. Posted up, arms cross chest, look like a sphinx. Dead president, my set, I stick a Brinks. They paying Hellenistic politics, and government got too much blood on their hands for them to cover it. Out of the shadows of dark, I'm with intelligence. The Holy Grail bloodline shines on our resemblance. Got a BLM membership ready to pull a hit. I'm Colin Kaepernick out this bitch, you Mike Vick.
World War III.
Yeah, steady world tours, my worries is world wars. We already in the 3, shit get ready for the 4. Niggas deadly with the Glock, so we steady on the floor. Battery rams, heavy at my door. The fuck am I to do? Should I stay in the slump? Make me wanna pop the trunk, put a pump to Trump. From the Garden State, where we don't give a fuck. Chris Christie, I fuck you up. It's the laws of the land, it's all in God's plans. And all out warfare is all I understand. Got balls, never ran, man, never steal, never kill, but never say never, never will. Got a life to live, got a wife and kids, got a nickel-plated 9, man, she bright as shit. That's the price of this, living life in the bricks. Take a walk through Crooked Eye, see how nice it is. Yeah, World War III.
World War III. World War III. World War III.
I rain on your parade with grenades. Pack black max, cut throats with razor blades. Whip a nigga back like a slave back in the days. The pain will take your brain into the darkness of caves. I terrify your mind till you see spirits at your bedside. Electrify the sky with beams from my illuminated eye. This narrative from the solar, universal soldier. Demons are stored inside my molars. Draw swords to the necks of these frauds and leave them beheaded, cause they tested the style of the dreaded. And without warning, we'll be swarming by morning. You'll speak of many evils, desert eagles are performing. Run through your home like the Moors through Rome, putting bullets in the domes of these Zimmerman clones. We want reparations, a Benz and 40 acres, or it's World War III and we cooking pigs like bacon.
Telling lies to your vision, hypnotized with the rhythm. Corporation, America, enterprises, a prison. Politician, magicians, illusions of freedom. Smoking mirrors, they fear us, so they abuse us and beat us. And a wound is a fetus, the way our mothers was treated. We was born through a woman's spawn, doomed to be defeated. Giving birth in the trenches, niggas cursing, demented. Fucking worship his image, that's how the church was invented. To make a person dependent, and a circus of sinners. Behind the curtains, a serpent, and he is working within us. Dispersing the venom directly in the thinking mind to make it blind. A black nigga, the white man's Frankenstein. We trap nigga to the game, rewind to ancient times. And channel within us, our inner Genghis Khan. Tame the animal within committing heinous crimes. To each other, we brothers, we must stay alive.
It's World War III. World War III.
Reporting live from the
Peace, power, and prosperity. Rob Blackstorm, late night. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? I wanted to talk about, some of these current events, things that's been happening lately. Hope you are doing well. Hope your family's doing well. And if you're not doing well, I hope that you are working on making things better, because you have ultimate control over your life, and you have the ability to shine light on the timeline that you wish to experience through your thoughts, through your emotions, and through the actions that you take. So never think that you're powerless. Always know, like He-Man said, you have the power of Grayskull. All right. So never think that, things can't change from where they are. That's what the magic about. That's what spirituality is about. And most importantly, that's what your imagination's about. So let's just get right into it. Want to go through some things that we've been seeing in the media lately. Shout out to everyone who's tapped in. Oh, what's up, Ultra Instinct? Appreciate you. Oh, New Rock Marcy just dropped. Oh wow, okay. Yeah, I'll probably play that after I get off live. That's probably what I'm gonna be tuned into for sure. For real. Shout out to everybody who's in the building, people who are coming in on the replay. It's probably somebody on the street blocking somebody because I'm sure you hear the car horns. Apologize for that. But we are going to get things started. So let's present some things, share some screen, and we'll go from there. Let's do this. Let's pull this up. Where are we at? Okay, let's start here. Make sure y'all can see what I see. Okay, so what we're talking about right now is the science of bridges. Okay, so we know Monday, right, was a full moon, lunar eclipse in Libra. And what we want to understand is the symbolism behind what is happening. Now, a lot of people are talking about this bridge and the government, the secret societies, the Illuminati. It was a setup. Why would the bridge come down like that? Well, we're going to explore a little bit about the bridge, the Francis Scott Key Bridge, also the other bridge that was on fire, the I-480 bridge, and go into a little bit of why these things happen, right? It's very easy to put the Western man, the Western European, on this pedestal of them knowing all and being all. And one of the things that we need to understand as spiritual beings is that there's a higher order, right? There's a higher secret society, right? And that higher secret society or hidden secret society is what they call the occult, right? What the word occult just means hidden. It's a word that scares a lot of people, but all it means is hidden. And the real secrets are in signs and symbols, right? Symbolism, right? Or signs, and what is hidden within what we see. And we cannot put everything that happens on man or mankind. That's just ridiculous, right? And essentially, what we're doing when we do that is we're giving our power away, right? We're saying that the Illuminati or the secret societies or everybody else has more power than we do, right? As spiritual beings and as a conscious collective. And that is the first step of being knowing that you're rooted in the root chakra. Safety, security, right? Sensations and security, right? You just want to feel safe by any means. You just want to feel secure by any means. And when you don't feel secure, you need to have someone to blame, a scapegoat, if you will, right? We're in Aries season, the season of the ram, but you need a scapegoat. So the easiest scapegoat is the government. The easiest scapegoat is the Illuminati. The easiest scapegoat is the Trilateral Commission. The easiest scapegoat is, the IMF and all these other big governmental worldwide societies of collaborators who manipulate the world. As the great Bob Marley said, none of them can stop the time. So sometimes things happen just because they're supposed to happen to give those in the spiritual know, not the physical know, right? We're dealing with the duality of the universe, right? The physical, the material, right? Energy, matter on the physical realm, And then the higher realm of consciousness and will, our intention, our thoughts, our ideas, our emotions, right? All these aspects of consciousness, right, in play, which lead to the higher self, right? And then you have the lower self, which is energy and matter. But both things coexist, not only in the world, but within us. So we're looking at the bridges, right, that happened on this lunar eclipse, and we're going to see some things that you're going to be like, wow, and you'll easily see that this is spiritual symbolism and has nothing to do with the Illuminati or the Freemasons or whoever you think is behind every single accident or every single. And trust me, I used to be there. I understand. You know what I'm saying? I read The Hidden Hand in 1999. You know what I'm saying? I read Behold the Pale Horse in 1998. Like I read Illuminati 666 probably in 1988, 1998 too. Like I've read all these books about conspiracy theories and who runs the world and what runs the world. And what you really come to realize is that God runs the world, right? And I'm not talking about a mystery God. I'm talking about the God that is within us and the God that is the Allah, right? The universe, the oneness of the one verse, right? The universe. So you come after a while, you come to understanding that there's no higher power but you and the power that is within you, which is what you share with the divine, which some call God, which some call, whatever you want to call it, God, Allah, Buddha, whatever you want to call it, right? So bridges symbolize transition and renewal. They represent the journey from one phase to another. They embody personal growth and the embrace of new beginnings. Additionally, bridges serves as connectors, using distant points and fostering a sense of unity and understanding. Okay, so bridges symbolize transition and renewal, right? So in order for things, and remember, we are also in an 8-year. Okay, 8 is a number of building and destroying. It's a number, if you turn the 8 on the side, you see infinity. All right. So transition and renewal means that something, in order to build something, something has to be destroyed. In order to destroy something, something is built on top of it, right? So when there's a transition or a change in your life, when you move, right, when you get a new job, you enter a new career, you enter a new relationship, right? It's a bridge from one part from where you were to another part, right? The same thing when you're on a bridge. It represents you going from one part or one place to another place. So this is a new beginning, right? This is what this symbolism is, the meaning of bridges, new beginnings, okay? Transition, renewal. So keep that in mind. So what we want to do is let's go into a little bit of this video and peep what this bridge looked like, because people are saying all type of things, and let's just look at what's. And actually, we don't even need to hear the music, but if you look, right, you see the ship is coming to what's holding it off. This is called a truss bridge, and the truss is a triangle. So these are like triangles that's holding the bridge up. And you can see the power going in and out, the power going in and out, right, and losing power. Now, people will say, oh, this is something that the government did. This is something that they did to, leave the world behind and those type of things. And we'll talk about that also as we continue. But what could happen is that the ship simply lost power. You know what I'm saying? Like the ship simply lost power. You could see it. Like you could see the ship losing power. And there's people on YouTube, right? Not the conspiracy theorists, not the fear mongers, not the people that are telling you everything in the world is caused by some big bad white man, right? You could see from people who operate ships of all different races, and there's videos out there that tells you that when you lose power of a ship, you cannot control it. It's out of your control. It starts to move in a certain way. You're trying to hold it, but you cannot. It is on water, okay? I don't know if you've ever had something or put a rubber ducky in the bathroom, right? If you put a rubber ducky in the bathtub, that rubber ducky is going to move around wherever it wants to move. Okay. You can't control the flow of water or a body of water. Water's going to do what water wants to do. This is what water is. It's a wave, right? It's a wave of potential. So that wave could go anywhere, at any time. So just because it ran into this bridge, it does not mean that, you know what I'm saying, the Bilderberg group had a hand in it. It doesn't mean that. Shit just happens. And it could mean something that the universe is trying to show us. And that's what I am positing. That's my contribution, if you will, to this story and this idea, that it has nothing to do with anybody else but the divine and spirit speaking to us. And what spirit trying to show us, right? Well, this particular bridge is the Francis Scott Key Bridge. Okay. So Francis Scott Key, we all have heard, if you watch sports or whatever, or you went to any type of public school in America, you've heard the Star Spangled Banner. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light, blah, blah, blah. Right. And the Star Spangled Banner was basically, what is it about? Right. So you want to understand the symbolism, because again, this is about transformation and renewal, right? Bridges falling, right? It's about new beginnings. So the Star Spangled Banner was when they were going to war, America was going to war with the British, right? And there was a battle, right? Actually, let's go into it, right? It says Key was a prominent attorney in the region during the first half of the 19th century. In September 1814, 2 years after the War of 1812 had started between the United States and the British, okay? He was on a ship. Now, a ship is what hit this bridge. Pay attention, okay, to the signs and symbols. They always link. There's no such thing as coincidence, only confirmation. He was on a ship to negotiate an American prisoner's release and witnessed a 25-hour bombardment of Fort Henry, all right? And from his vantage point on the Patapsco River, the 35-year-old Key was able to see that the American flag stayed up through the hours of darkness, okay? Stayed up through the hours of darkness and was still at the top of the fort when the morning came, okay? So this was when America was fighting from their independence from the British, right? And their independence from Britain, right? Which, if you really want to get technical, America is still tied to the British monarchy, right? But through the treasury, right? And the Rothschilds, but that's another story for another day. So they named this bridge after him, okay? And it says, while the first verse of the anthem is most well known, there are a total of 4 stanzas. In the third, there is a reference made to a slave. He, whose family owned people, melanated people, and who owned enslaved people himself, supported the idea of sending free Black people to Africa, but opposed the abolition of slavery in the U.S. According to the National Parks Service, Fort McHenry National Monument and Historic Shrine. His personal history has made him a controversial figure in some quarters. In June 2020, a statue of him in San Francisco was taken down, all right? So we know 2020 has a lot of parallels to 2024. Even if we go to the Super Bowl, the Chiefs won the Super Bowl in 2020, and the Chiefs also won the Super Bowl in 2024, and they faced the 49ers in 2020, and they also faced the 49ers in 2024, right? They also, we know in 2020, there was a big disease that hit the fan, right? We're going to get to that also in this particular thing. Don't worry. In this particular lecture, I got you, right? But the main thing about this is that this is representing a transition, all right? Again, this is a representative of a transition and a renewal. It's a symbol of America's independence, America's hegemony, America's power being on the decline, right? America's power being lauded in their capitalism, lauded in their entertainment, lauded in their propaganda, in their trick knowledge, right? all these things are being exposed and coming to a head. So the bridge falling is just a representing of that, and the power of enslaved people as well. And even if you think about enslaved people, right? Let's go to Diddy real quick before we get fully into Diddy and the Shadow. Diddy was accused on the same day this bridge fell of sex trafficking, of human trafficking, right? So that represents slavery, right? So it's a fall of slavery in both things, all right? So the signs and symbols keep showing you what this thing is really about, right? So instead of giving honor to man, give honor to your ancestors knocking down this particular bridge, all right? Give your ancestors some love. Give your ancestors some light because they're giving you an image of what's happened, right? Now, it says that that's no ordinary bridge, okay? What made the Francis Scott Key Bridge? Oh, sorry. Let me go. All right. So this is no ordinary bridge, all right? What made the Francis Scott Key Bridge a historic wonder, all right? Yep, exactly. The bridge is over, you okay? So it's showing you that this system is falling, okay? Are you going to leave the world behind? Don't worry, we'll get into that too, all right? Because I've seen that popping up. And we're going to demystify all of these things and take all this fear out of this, because fear is a false expectation appearing real. But where does the appearance start? The appearance starts in the I and I, right? The appearance starts in the imagination. The imagination in you is where the fear is conjured. And what they do is they put images out here to make you as fearful as possible, right? And we want to shake that as we move forward, because fear and divinity, they don't go together, okay? So, no ordinary bridge. What made the Francis Scott Key Bridge a historical wonder, all right? So, let's just go into a little bit of this. So it says, this is no ordinary bridge. This is one of the cathedrals, right? A cathedral is a holy place, okay? A church, a cathedral, that's a holy place, right? Or supposedly a holy place, right? Of American infrastructure. It has been the skyline of this region for longer than many of us have been alive. Now, remember, this happened in Maryland. So Maryland is also one of the original 13 colonies, right? The DMV area. Virginia is the first colony, right? The first created colony was Virginia, right? And Maryland is right next to it. This is all a sign and symbol, people, all from the spirit world. So it says the path to normalcy will not be easy, it will not be quick, it will not be inexpensive, but we will rebuild together. All right. So it says the Francis Scott Key Bridge was the second longest continuous truss bridge. A truss bridge is basically, the truss is built with pyramids, right? And if you look at this picture, you'll see like the pyramid structure of the bridge, even to the foundations. I guess these are called the foundations. I don't know the technical term of the bridge. You see, they look like pyramids, right? It's very obvious right there. And you see the structure even on the bridge, it looks like pyramids. And it says the steel arch bridge opened in 1977 after years of construction that began in 1972. Okay. So March 1977, right, is when this bridge was constructed. And it also fell in March 2024. Okay. Don't worry, we're going to get into that. So that's the sign and symbol of a fall of something. Okay. Again, transition and renewal. So the bridge was named after the Star Spangled Banner. And in addition to its historical significance, the bridge played an essential role in East Coast shipping. Okay. Essential role in American capitalism. All right. In 2023, the port's private and public terminals handled more autos and light trucks than any other U.S. port at 847,158. According to a Maryland government website, the port was also critical for the shipping of farm and construction machinery, coal, gypsum, and sugar. Okay. Now, why on earth, and somebody could comment, you know, I'm open to being wrong. Why would somebody or in the Illuminati, in the Bilderberg Group, in the Trilateral Commission, Why would they knock down something that is providing all these resources, all this money, right? It said it's the second largest of these type of bridge, of these 4-lane bridge, and it handled more autos and light trucks than any other U.S. port. Farm construction machinery, coal, gypsum, and sugar, all essentials to maintaining American hegemony, American hierarchy. The USA's dominance across the world is built on their financial power, right? Their financial and their military power, and also their propaganda. But this is so there's no reason why anybody in power would want to destroy this bridge. Okay, this is a higher power that destroyed this bridge. And I want you to look at this bridge, right? Now, remember, we had a full moon in Libra on Monday, right? The full moon, the lunar eclipse, was on Libra when this happened, all right? Now, look at this bridge, okay? Look at the shape of it. Look at the structure of it, all right? Take like 5 seconds. And I'm going to show you something right now. It'll take 5 seconds. Look at the shape and structure of it. Oh, y'all can't even see it. Hold on. All right, take 5 seconds. Look at the shape and structure of the bridge. All right. Hopefully y'all got it. All right, you're looking at it. Now we're going to go here. Remember, the full moon was in Libra now. It was in Libra. And if you see it, the bridge, all right, look where it says save right here, highlighted red. I'm going to take it off in a second. All right. The full moon, again, was in Libra. The lunar eclipse was in Libra on Monday. And you'll see that the bridge looks just like the sign of Libra, the symbol or the sigil of Libra. It looks the same. It looks exactly the same. Let's look at it again. It looks just like the symbol of Libra. All right. There is no difference whatsoever. It looks just like the symbol, the same thing, right? Which, if you really want to be technical, is the Omega symbol, and the Alpha and Omega, right? And this, anybody who's been in a Greek fraternity will tell you this part of the Libra symbolism is the Omega symbol, and Omega symbolizes the end. All right, the Alpha is the beginning, and the Omega is the end. Alpha and Omega, right? So the Omega is the end. So it symbolizes the end of a system. Okay, the end of the old, the beginning of something new, the beginning of new energy, new purpose, new beginnings. All right. So when you look at, you see these symbols, right, looking the same. It's like, wow, that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? You could clearly see the loop, right, and the lines on the side. You can clearly see that when you're looking at the Libra symbol. All right, you can clearly see it. You can clearly see it. So also, when we talk about this other bridge, right? Let's get into the other bridge, the I-480 bridge, right? This was the second bridge that later on the evening, that happened like 3 a.m, Eastern time, when the Francis Scott Key Bridge went down. But there was a fire that broke out under the I-480 bridge. Okay. Now, when I see I'm not thinking about my two eyes, right? I'm thinking about the symbolism behind it. What is the hidden? What is the occultism behind it? What's hidden, right? I'm looking beyond the surface of what I'm seeing with my physical eyes. And now I'm going into my imagination. So when I see I'm thinking, okay, my third eye, right? Or my imagination, imagination, right? So my imagination now, the number is 480. 8 plus 4, remember, this is also an 8 year, okay? Also on 4/8 is when the solar eclipse is occurring, right? So this was the lunar eclipse when this happened. The solar eclipse is happening on 4/8/2024, all right? You can't make this shit up, all right? It's all linked up. It's all linked up. So what am I supposed to see? Okay, now we're in Aries season again. So this happening under the Aries sun, all right? Aries is a fire sign, all right? It's a fire sign. And it said the fire broke out under the bridge. But if we look at the bridge or the valley view, right? The valley view bridge, right? 8 and 4 not only correspond to the 4/8 solar eclipse, but also correspond to 8 and 4 equaling 12, which taps back into the zodiac. 12 zodiacs, or the 12 archetypes, or the 12 emotions, or the 12 frequencies, or the 12 vibrations, right? Looking at who we totally are, because Aries means I am. Okay. So who are you? Okay. What is it that needs to be transformed and renewed? What bridges need to be rebuilt and what bridges need to fall? These are all things that we want to be looking at now that we understand these signs and symbols and what they actually mean. Okay. And now that we don't think we're not putting our power and our imagination into how powerful the government is and how powerful the almighty white man is, now we could use these things for our benefit. And we could say, okay, I'm dealing with Cheryl or I'm dealing with John, right? Is this the person I'm supposed to be dealing with? Is this a person I'm supposed to be around? Is this a person I'm supposed to be communicating with, right? Because the 12 again is the embodying the whole zodiac, which is what you are. You are the sun in the zodiac. So even though I'm a Scorpio, right, I still have the ability to tap into all aspect, all frequencies of the zodiac, which is what spiritual work is all about. So there's times I could act like a Taurus, right, and be money hungry and financially straight and seek comfort, right? There's times I could be like a Libra, right, and be very, communicative, and or not even communicative, that's more Gemini, but be more into friendship and connecting with people, right? There's times where I could tap into Leo energy, which is that leadership, courageous, right? So all these aspects are developments within you that you could tap into at any time, because you are everything and nothing at the same time. What do I mean by you are everything and nothing at the same time? You are everything because everything is you. You are part of the universe. You are made of stardust. So that's scientifically speaking, right? This is not just me saying it's conjecture. Everything is in you. You are made of stardust. You're made of atoms, quarks, gluons, right? Microorganisms, subatomic particles, right? Everything is you. So you have the ability to tap into all those frequencies, right? You can't, but your main frequency is always going to be what you came here under. So I came here under, when the sun was in Scorpio. So I'm a Scorpio, right? When the moon was in Gemini, right? And my rising is in Cancer. So those are my base frequencies. But I have the ability also to tap into all those different frequencies in the zodiac. So this is what this is telling you, right? And what happened to this particular bridge? This particular bridge was on fire, all right? There was fire under the bridge. And if you look at this bridge in particular, this I-480 bridge, and we're going back to the Libra symbolism, right? The I-480 bridge, like the bottom of, it looks like the bottom of Libra, of the sign of Libra. And you'll quickly see that it's flat, right? It's not a truss bridge. We can see the foundations right here. It's not built on triangles. It's not a truss bridge. So it's flat. It looks like the bottom part of the Libra symbolism. Let's go back to it. Okay. It looks like this bottom part of the Libra symbolism, while this looks like the top part when it loads up. Wait, let me make sure I'm on the right tab. So this looks like the top part of the Libra symbolism, right? You'll quickly see it. All right. This is the Francis Scott Key Bridge, the top, and the bottom is the I-480 bridge, right? So both of these things happen. So Libra, what it says here, Libra is the sign of harmony and relationships and strives for balance between polarities. Libras are known for their good taste, elegance, and charms. Their national mode of living is in partnership with others. All right. They are concerned with issues of social justice and are natural diplomats. They may also struggle in making firm decisions. Okay, so this energy was at play, even if we go into the Diddy thing. Now let's look at the ship that actually hit. Let's look at the ship that actually hit this particular this particular bridge. So, okay, there we go. So the ship's name was Dolly. Okay, the ship's name was Dolly. So Dolly is a goddess of the forest. Okay, but who is it a goddess from? What people does this goddess represent? Right? Because again, there is a structure in America that says, and we just got to keep it real, that says white is right, right? Light is right, right? You know, there's racism. I never use the term white supremacy, but there's racism, right? And that is part of the structure. There's classism, right? Race and class also go together, right? It's a weird grammar game, which is grammar is a form of magic, by the way. You could look this up. I've talked about this before. Grammar is a form of magic. And it's a weird grammar game that they play, right? When you talk about evil and really like wickedness, it's really lies, it's tricks, it's misdirection, right? It's telling half truths, right? That's what really evil is, right? It's not being forthright, right? It's selling people snake oil, so to speak, right? Trick knowledge, what the gods would call it, right? So we have to look at who this god Dolly, right? Which again is the name of the ship. You can look it up. The name of the ship that hit the Francis Scott Key Bridge is Dolly. And it says it's a goddess from the mythology of the Georgian people of the Caucasus region. Okay. So it's a goddess from the mythology of the Georgian people of the Caucasus region. She is a hunting goddess who serves as the patron of hoofed wild mountain, and we'll get into that next. And look at Dolly, right? And again, this is the Aries sun. You can right here, all right? This is part of the goddess worship, all right? Part of the goddess imagery, right? You see the Aries symbolism right here with a sun, okay? And it says it's a goddess from the mythology of the Georgian people of the Caucasus region. We know Caucasian people run America. It just is what it is, right? But that time is up. That bridge is falling. Those times are over, all right? It's a new world coming into play where you and I and your children will see a different reality if we so visualize it. If our eyes are on the stars, if our eyes are tapped into nature, if we are tapped into the zodiac, right? The natural movement of the planets, a natural movement of the stars, the natural movement of the heavenly bodies, right? If you're tapped in, you will be able to see things beyond what other people see. You'll be able to see possibilities where other people see fear, right? So one of the reasons they keep showing you this image of this bridge falling, right, is to keep you in a visual stupor, so to speak. So every time you go over a bridge now, guess what? You're going to think that this is going to happen. Even though this happened once in most of all of our lifetimes. I've never seen a bridge since I've been alive, and I've been here for quite some time, run into a ship, I should say, run into a bridge. Never. It's never happened. It's an anomaly, right? It's like being born with 3 feet. It's things that don't really happen. But now because the media is playing this over and over and over and over and over, and you don't have spiritual wisdom, and you're not looking at things from an occult perspective, you're not looking at things from between the surface, and I'm not talking about you that's watching, I'm talking about the masses. So now when you go over a bridge, you're going to think fear. If this is your mindset, here's what you do. You learn how to meditate. And during your meditation, you visualize yourself going over a bridge safely, calmly, and soundly. Do this for the next 2 weeks. By the time and if you need to reinforce that, do that on the day of the solar eclipse. You won't be fearful anymore, because this is a powerful 2-week time that we are in. That's why the bridge under it is fire, because it's lighting the fire under you. But they have all these distractions, the Diddies and the government took down the bridge and terrorist attack and leave the world behind, that people are steeped in fear and trauma, right? And they don't understand how to look at these things beyond the surface. This is why I'm here. Shout out to the God in me. All right, so it's representative, going back to Diddy, the ship that hit the Francis Scott Key Bridge, is a representative of, and remember the last new moon that we had in February was in Libra, in Pisces, right? So Pisces is also a water element as well. So the full moon was in Libra, yes, and Libra also taps into feminine energy, but Pisces does as well, okay? So again, all the signs and symbols just keep lining up. But it says she's a hunting goddess, right, who serves as the patron of hoof wild mountain animals such as ibises and deer, all right? Ibises and deer. And we've seen these ibises and deer, and we've seen ships also wash up. But again, for the Dali to hit American Bridge is to represent that y'all done fucked up. Y'all doing too much, basically. And that's what they're telling Western America, right? Caucasian America. You doing too much, right? Your symbols will fall. Just like the Francis Scott Key statue fell in 2020. Now the bridge is falling, which represents the Star Spangled Banner. It's time to look at new Star Spangled Banners, right? Let's look at, even if you're talking about Beyonce's, right, album cover with her as Cowboy Carter, but her flag not showing the stars, right? Because there's new stars that are coming. And if you go back to my older video where I was talking about the falls of celebrities and how celebrities are dying for your attention now, because they know a lot of people are waking up and are shifting their focus from them and worshiping them. Now, of course, the masses are asses. They're going to do what they're going to do. But there's a minority that is growing, that is waking up, and that is focusing on self-development, spiritual development, knowledge of self, right? Coming into their own powers, learning about magic, learning about their divinity, learning about the truth of the way they can manipulate nature to their benefit, learning about their own individual power apart from the group thing. They know that the universe understands what's coming, and also the quote-unquote powers that be understand what's coming. So they're going to keep reaffirming the Beyoncés and all this, but even them, they can't stop the time, right? We're in an 8th year. Things are being destroyed so that things could be rebuilt. And they're going to continue to pull out all the stops. But if you understand the power of your mind, Professor X, mutant that you are, you'll be able to manipulate things according to what you want to see. We'll get into that, all right? But it's just interesting that this ship was called the Dali and what it represents, and that it's a myth or mythos or a deity that represents the Caucasus region, right? It's kind of like white on white crime. Dali hitting Francis Scott Key, like, get the fuck out of here. Those days is over, all right? So, speaking of leave the world behind, remember, right, she's the goddess of hoofed deers, right? Ibises and deer, all right? So leave the world behind. Make sure y'all can see what I see. All right, what is the symbolism? Symbolism is a deer, okay? I can't make this up. It is what it is. The symbolism is a deer, okay? This is the movie poster, right? This is where I got it from, all right? I'm just showing you what it is. So the movie poster, right, Leave the World Behind, you see the deer. Now, many people will say, oh, yeah, the first thing we saw in the movie Leave the World Behind was a ship. That is correct. The first thing you saw in Leave the World Behind was a ship that was docking on land, right? Then you'll say, oh, okay. Well, Ra, you said Dolly was a goddess that basically her symbolism is deer as well, right? It's a spiritual symbolism that's connected to deer. So you say, well, she's the patron saint of deer. So yeah, this is all lining up. This is what's going to happen, right? No, that's not what's going to happen. It's what's going to happen if you say it's what's going to happen. If you say that's what's going to happen, that's what's going to happen. If you visualize that's what's going to happen, that's what's going to happen. If you feel like that's what's going to happen, that's what's going to happen. If you act like that's what's going to happen, that's what's going to happen. Tap into your motherfucking power, spiritual beings, and leave the world behind. Leave the world behind. Leave these images that they give you, these thoughts that they give you, these ideas that you are not in control of this reality behind. There is something called a collective consciousness. A collective consciousness that we are all part of. In your prayers, right? When you came up Christian or whatever, what is the last thing you said to you in your prayer, right? Let me see it in the comments. What's the last thing you said at the end of your prayer? The last word you said at the end of your prayer when you grew up Christian or you went to church or whatever. Somebody put it in the chat. What's the last thing you said for your prayer? Exactly. Amen. Exactly. Thank you, Ultra Instinct. Thank you, Divinely Crafted. Shout out to everybody who's here. Please hit that like button if what I'm saying is making sense and it's giving you value. You said amen. Exactly. More so knowledge. So if you're saying amen at the end of your prayers, right? Amen is a spiritual principle. Amen is a Kemetic deity. What does amen represent? Amen represents the subconscious mind. All right. Let me see if I can pull up a video for y'all. Right? Amen represents the subconscious mind. So with amen representing the subconscious mind, right? Or the underworld, right? If you look at the story of amen, let's see if I can pull up something. Amen or amen, right? Let me share this real quick. Make sure y'all can see what I see. All right. So if you look at amen or amen, right? It says the Egyptian creator God, meaning the hidden, right? So this particular energy is the hidden collective consciousness. In science, what they would call this is black body radiation, okay? It is the inner darkness within you, right? It's the darkness that is the source of anything that you imagine. Before you go to bed, right? Before you go into the astral realm and go to sleep, what happens? You go into darkness, right? And then you start to dream. But the base of your dream or the light or the symbols or the action is darkness. Okay. So Amen is a creator God, not a look at what they're doing to us God, not a oh man, they always attacking us God, not a oh man, the government is blowing up. Look at how they blew up the bridge God. No, you create the reality that you want to see here on the planet, and then the universe will start to respond to that reality. The universe doesn't give a fuck about you personally. Everything is running on autopilot because everything is structured according to sacred geometry. So the animals, the dogs are going to bark, right? The lions are going to lion. The monkeys are going to monkey. The grass is going to grow, right? The mountains are going to mountain. Everything already has its own system in place in nature. It is man that has to find himself, right? It is man that has to create himself. It is man that has the ability to act like an animal or act like a god. That's the variable, right? You can act like an animal, aka a devil, a demon, right? Can't control yourself, right? Have to only act one way, right? Not in tune with your shadow self. Or you can act like a creator god and say, okay, this is what I'm going to create. Even if you look, right? When you look at Amen, you see all the energy is coming from the top of the head. It's coming from the crown chakra because you are king. Didn't Beyonce tell you black is king? So you are king. So we put so much, and I've been there. Like, I'm not saying this to, knock down your fears or make it seem unrealistic. But Amen is a real principle. You ended that with your prayers because it represented universal consciousness. It represented collective consciousness. And the people that are in secret societies, that are manipulating you, that do understand magic, know by you entering your prayers, your words, right? Your sounds, your frequency, your vibration through what you speak, right? Which creates sacred geometry. If you study cymatics, whatever you speak, your words, every sound creates a shape, right? Look up Dr. Emoto as well, right? As far as his studies with sound and water. So when they know, right, the Catholic priest, the Jesuits priest, they know that when you say amen, you're basically saying the collective consciousness of Christians you're binding yourself to, right? You're binding yourself through that creative force, and you're creating more for them than you're creating for yourself. Now, those are the things that you want to look at when you talk about the Illuminati and secret societies, right? You want to look at these Jesuits and how they're manipulating your mind to think, for your mind to imagine. Those are the real conspiracies, not shit that's occurring outside of you. JFK, Martin Luther King, and all that, right? I'm not saying these things aren't conspiracies, right? MK Ultra, Project Mockingbird, right? All these things you can look up. Project Artichoke, right? All these different COINTELPRO, right? All these things are designed to effectively influence your imagination. If you really boil down to it, right? All these things are designed to influence your imagination and influence your mindset. It's designed to put you in a collective consciousness. So we have the ability, and they know this, to create your reality. But how do they do this? They create your reality through the media, through social media now, right? Through the radio, through your smartphone. For instance, my government name is Robin, right? ROBIN. Do you know how many ads I get for Ozempic? Do you know how many ads I get for fucking Ozempic? I'm a whole man. But the algorithm doesn't know that. They just see Robin. So I get ads on my news feeds for Ozempic. I can't imagine what real women are going through. The pressure. That's the real conspiracy. Not if a bridge is getting blown up. No, that's shit you want to look at and see, okay, why? But the real conspiracy is the control of your mind, the control of your crown, the control of the aspect of the creator within you, which is God. God is first and foremost a creator, right? If you meditate long enough, you go into the void. And when you go into the void, you understand that there is nothing. The void is nothing, nothingness, pure darkness, right? Who I was talking about with the last interview I did with our firstborn Art. We was talking about the black flame. That is nothing. That's black body radiation, cosmic background radiation, nothing. And in the beginning was the word. It was the logos, the image, the sound, the frequency. And that creates all things. But they're not going to tell you that. They're going to tell you they did it. They're going to tell you it's a conspiracy. They're going to tell you it's the government. If you really watch Leave the World Behind, right? If you really watch this movie, Leave the World Behind, the character you're supposed to pay attention to is Rose. Rose, the child, the little white girl, right? Why would you pay attention to Rose? What's important about Rose? Rose looked at the signs and symbols. Rose looked at the signs and symbols of what was happening. She saw the deer. She said, wait, something's up. Right? She saw that, she saw that what else? She went to the house with her brother. So what was happening to her brother, right? She saw what was happening to her parents and that they were just sitting down waiting for something to happen. And in her mind, she wanted to watch Friends. She didn't care what was happening. She wanted to fucking watch Friends. She wanted to watch Friends. So her focus was on finding a way to watch the season finale of Friends, while the whole world was saying this was happening, that was happening, this was happening. She wanted to watch Friends. That was in her thoughts. That was on her heart and her emotions. And that was in her actions. And what did that lead to? That led to her. That's why I say y'all really don't understand the meaning of leave the world behind. Y'all think it's about the fall of America. No, it's about what the fuck are you focusing on? And how are you recreating America? Because yes, America is going down. That's a fact. But how are you going to recreate it? And what is your focus when it's going down? You as the individual, not you as the group, not you as black people, not you as poor people, not you as people united under one umbrella. You. What will you be focused on? Because I don't give a fuck what happens. There's moves I'm still going to make this year, right? There's things I'm still going to do. All this shit don't really affect me and my visions because my visions are different than what the world says my vision should be. My visions are not to focus on if the government is blowing up or what their conspiracy is or what they're designed to do. No, what am I designed to do? I'm designed to create. I'm designed to build. I'm just designed to destroy things that don't serve me. So I leave the world behind. That was the meaning behind the movie. That was the real meaning. All right. So when you see these symbolisms come up and you say, oh, like for instance, you know how people create reality, don't even realize it? I'm gonna give you two examples. First example, when Avatar 2 came out, Avatar 2, The Way of the Water came out. What did they do? Right? The same day, and you could look this up and fact check me, the same day, Scientific American came out with an article, and you can Google me now, came out with an article saying that they found a planet that had water. Why? Because they understand that you create reality and your collective consciousness by viewing on a black screen, dark screen. We just talked about darkness, right? The void from a dark screen, which is represents your imagination. Also in movie theaters, what happens is everyone's brain syncs up in a movie theater. Whether you know that or not, all of your brains sync, literally. This is not fiction. So they came up with an article saying that they found another planet that had water on it. This is how it works. The second thing, when Leave the World Behind dropped, right? What do they have? Tesla cars malfunctioning, right? The next week, Tesla did a recall about their cars. This winter, what happened? Teslas, right? They was having issues during the winter, charging. This is magic, folks. This is magic. Black mirrors, trance, scrying. It's all about creation. And it's a basic formula if you understand it. But you have to live, in order to master this, you have to live by the will of the divine, not by your will. You have to adhere to the rules of nature, the 7 universal laws. Mentalism, everything is the mind. Vibration, everything vibrates. Polarity, everything has an equal and opposite pole, hot or cold, right? correspondence. Everything has above, so below. You have cause and effect. Every cause has an effect, and every effect has a cause, right? You have gender. There's masculine and feminine energy in everything. So no masculine is supreme, no feminine. If people understood just that, the whole gender war thing would die off, right? Because everything has masculine and feminine genders. Everything has masculine and feminine energy, right? Including the universe. And if you gender and rhythm, right? There's a rhythm to everything, right? The pendulum swings. Some days you're up, some days you're down, some days you're down, some days you're up, right? Some days life is great, some days life is not great, right? That's the pendulum swing for everybody. I don't care how much money you have, how many women, how many men, whatever, how big your house is, you're going to go through a pendulum swing, right? People talk about positive energy. And when they talk about positive energy, right, they say like people have this like what they call toxic positivity, right? Just because positive energy, right, is something that you could channel or create with, it doesn't mean that everything in life is going to be quote unquote positive. What makes things, so if you have a tragedy in your family, right, you lose a loved one, if you go through some difficult circumstance, you lose your job, you lose your house, right, you get car gets repossessed, right, you you go through some health issue, that's not positive. You know what I'm saying? It's not somebody, hits your account and robs your cash app for $500 or $1,000 or whatever. Those aren't positive things, right? So positive energy doesn't exist all the time. But it will exist if you create positive energy around it. And part of that is gratitude for what you have, right? Part of that is finding joy in different situations, finding people who make you laugh, watching comedy, right? Part of that is positive visualization, meditation, speaking to your ancestors at your altar, right? Ancestral communication, not worship, but communication, not worship. Communication, not worship. We don't worship ancestors over here. We communicate, right? We build, we rapport, we exchange energy with ancestors. This is not praising Jesus just to praise Jesus and to feel like we're high and mighty because we're praising Allah or Muhammad or something like that. That's not what this path of occult spirituality is about, right? Spiritual personal development is about. So these black mirrors are what they use to play with your mind, and people buy into it and don't even realize it. All right, don't even realize they're using you to create their reality. And once we get a handle on this, things will change up. Things will change up. So let's go into some more stuff. Y'all hit that like button. All right, I don't ask for much. So now remember, this on the same day that this happened, this was the same anniversary of Biggie's Life After Death album. This has been talked about ad nauseum over the internet, but I like this particular picture because it deals with polarity, all right, black and white, all right, which is what the quote unquote powers, the earthly powers, now let's talk about the secret societies, are using against your consciousness, right? Controlling what is good, controlling what is bad, using through groupthink, telling you what's right, telling you what's wrong, right? There's no one outside that can tell you what's wrong. You have within you a consciousness, right? And your conscious will tell you something is right and something is wrong. And what you do through spiritual work is you train that consciousness, because that is also, your conscious is tapped into your intuition, right? The more you reject your conscience and do what you feel like you want to do, right, and go against universal law, the lower your intuitive faculties become. So you want clairvoyance, you want clairaudience, you want clairsentience, you want quote unquote luck. All luck is a high vibrational electromagnetic field, aka aura. So the electricity that you're giving off, if you're going through the struggle, still remaining positive, still remaining optimistic, still knowing that this is just a part of rhythm. Eventually the pendulum's going to swing the other way, Yeah, I lost this. Yeah, I don't have this job, but eventually the pendulum's going to swing where I do have a job. Let me keep focusing on that. Let me keep feeling like I'm working someplace I love. Let me keep putting out, revising my resume and putting my resume out there, right? Or I have a business, right? Let me keep focusing on my business, right? Focusing on what it looks like when I'm selling out a particular product, focusing on what that feels like in my heart, right? And then taking action, right? Seeing what works, seeing what doesn't work as far as ad spend and ad reach and things like that and marketing, right? This is how you control and create your reality. You think big, right? You control and create. But most people don't know how to create. And because creation is difficult, especially when you're going through hardship, it's difficult to think this way when you're going through a struggle. It's difficult to think like a divine being when your car got repossessed. It's difficult to think like a God body when you just go out through a breakup in a relationship. This is why meditation is one of the things I always talk about and why I believe and know it's a necessary aspect of this journey. There's no one from Panic to Bobby Hemmett to C. Freeman now to, I mean, we could keep going on and on and on of names. Y'all know them, you know what I'm saying? Francis Cress Welsing, right? Keep going. They all talk about meditation, right? Even the modern ones, Queen Afua, Sister Myra, they all talk about meditation. It's an aspect of you going into your divine self, your inner darkness, and you creating your reality. You're nervous about bridges. Go within. Change that reality. Breathe. The word spirit, the etymology of the word spirit means breath. Do your breath work. Visualize what you want to see and create that reality for yourself. If you're going through a hardship, visualize the reality you want to see in the future, right? Feel it and then take action towards it, right? It's very simple. Think big. But this also corresponds again to the situation with, of course, Biggie dying, which ties also into the Puffy thing, right? And if we go back, 1997, right? I thought something was interesting. 30 years ago, the Francis Scott Key Bridge was built in 1977. So 77 to 87, I'm sorry, 20 years, 77 to 87, 87 to 97, right? So 20 years ago is when that bridge was built, okay? So now that bridge is falling, right? That ideal of America being in power, of look at what they're doing to us, look at how they're harming us, look at all the conspiracies. All those things are lodged in fear too. Let me tell you that. All those things are lodged in fear and control. All that I want to find out, this is what they're doing to us, and I want to find out what's going to happen next. All that thing is fear is control. You never going to know what's going next, my nigga. I've lived through Y2K. I've lived through 2012, the world was going to end. I've lived through various emergency broadcast frequencies. I lived through when the 5G towers come, people are going to turn into zombies. I've lived through all of us are going to die from a rare disease in 2020. I've lived through the stock market crash in 2008 when everybody was losing their money. And Rob Blackstone that's made his first $100,000 a year. Plus, actually, to keep it real. When they said everybody was saying the stock market is down. I don't listen to that shit, or not the stock market, but finances are down and, people are losing money and things like that. I don't listen to that shit. You shouldn't either. You shouldn't either. You shouldn't either, God body. That's what they say. Are you thinking big? What bridge are you creating in your reality? How are you communicating? What type of people are you surrounding yourself with? I don't like loser energy. I ain't gonna be sitting on this internet talking about Puffy all crazy, all repeatedly with my memes and sharing on my social media. I'll drop something that's funny, you know what I'm saying, here and there. But at the same time, right? Other than it being funny, I don't wish nobody's downfall. Be wishing on his downfall, understanding the amen, the collective consciousness, the creator in me, is me wishing on my own downfall. Is you wishing on your own downfall because you're associating with that energy. And part of the shadow work is going into the darkness, going into your meditation is understanding why you associated with that energy. What is it about your childhood that caused you to associate with that energy of losing, of failing? Why are you excited? There's people excited about seeing Puffy fall. There's people excited. Yeah, Sloan Bella said that Jay-Z and Beyonce's next. Well, what will Sloan Bella tell y'all niggas when y'all get y'all reparations though? Oh shit. When will she tell you when you're getting your reparations? Oh, ask her that next time y'all watch on the chat. Ask her tell you predict when you get. I bet she won't have an answer for that. But she'll tell you about nigga celebrities all day. And just because somebody hits one time, just because you rolled the dice, and I'm not knocking her, I don't know, you know what I'm saying? I don't watch her regularly, so don't attack me or assault me. You know what I'm saying? I got nothing against her, what she does or her hustle, or if she's accurate or not, right? But like, really? Niggas is focused on a prediction about a celebrity falling. Does she have a prediction for you and your life and how you will rise and how you will ascend and how melanated people will get ahead in this world? Can y'all answer that? That's all I ask. Can y'all answer that? So we're not second class citizens here in America. How will that play out in our future? Or is it just niggas falling? Your celebrities falling and you're glad to see that? Because that's you. You engaging in that is you, right? We talk about energy, but positive energy relates to the celebrities too, and how you speak about them, right? You know that, right? You can't be talking about positive energy, then you're bashing the opposite sex every day. It doesn't work like that, right? You're talking negative about men or women every day on your social media, but yet you're a high vibrational, highly positive being. The energy you put out cause and effect, right? Correspondence, as above, so below. The energy you put out will be the energy you come back. Everything in the universe goes in cycles. It goes in circles, including your atoms, right? The proton and the neutron. The proton is a circle around the neutron, right? And then you have the electron taking care of all possibilities, right? And in that neutron is your DNA of your ancestors. But you can communicate at any time. But you'd rather listen to a man tell you what the world is instead of thinking big and creating for yourself and building your own bridges and new bridges that will take you into new reality, which is what the full moon in Libra is about. See, what's going to happen to y'all is this. We're getting puffy soon. But what's going to happen to y'all is this, and what's already happened to me, I already see it. You're going to be, these next 2 weeks before this solar eclipse and that week of the solar eclipse, there's going to be people that are going to challenge you on who you truly are. They're going to challenge your spiritual knowledge. They're going to challenge your character. They're going to try to tell you who you are. They're going to challenge how you feel about things. They're going to challenge what you're really doing with your life, right? And some of it's going to be true, and you may have to make some changes, and some of it's going to be bullshit. They're going to be projecting, right? But this is all intended for you to grow. It's all designed for you to grow, right? I don't care if Jay-Z's going to fall in the next year or 2 years. What does that do for me if he falls? What does that do for me? It just leaves a lot of more melanated people unemployed. If Beyonce falls, it leaves a lot more melanated people unemployed. Diddy falling, it leaves a lot more melanated people employed. You got an artist, Jazzy. I'm tight that he's going through this. Jazzy made a banging album. You know what I'm saying? I'm tight. I'm like, shit, he can't now. He ain't gonna drop. He ain't gonna be part 2 of this album. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying he's innocent, right, or whatever. But at the end of the day, this is your life, not theirs, not the celebrities. And we got to get out of the idea of worshiping celebrities. Like, celebrities are entertainers. That's it. They're there to entertain you. Have fun, turn up, enjoy, and then go back to your reality, which is the reality that you're creating, that you're thinking big about. So that bridge didn't fall for a reason. That bridge was this American idealism of freedom, justice, equality in the American way, right? America's a business. It's a corporation. America Inc. is based on capitalism, the dollar, and how they could capitalize on you. And how they can control you. Right? All those ideals of the American dream is a marketing plan to keep you focused on getting a house, a car, 3 dogs, a wife, a husband, and thinking that that's it. And at the same time, you losing your true divinity, your true purpose, your true self. You can't control your mood. You can't control your cigarette habit. You can't control your alcohol habit. You can't control your anger. You can't control your non-anger, your suppression of your anger. You don't speak up. You talk too much. You gossip. You love gossip. Spread lies. Speak too much truth at the wrong time. You're at the barbecue with the family and you want to talk about the pork sausage on the grill and fuck up everybody's day. And you think you're doing the right thing. I've been there. Being woke. You know what I'm saying? I remember being woke. I was at the job, right? And this is when I first was turning up, right? First came home. And I'm at the job and they send out a email and they got like little Caucasian angels on the email. And it's a group message, right? So I send back on that group message. I'm like, all these Caucasian angels aren't Caucasian. Angels have no color. And I don't agree that we should be using pictures with Caucasian angels because Caucasian angels don't represent divinity. A black ass got called in the office. And they ain't fired me because I was good at my job, but they definitely told me, like, look, you got to relax with that. Like, this is a company for everybody. They broke it down like we value everybody, all that bullshit. You know what I'm saying? At the same time, there was no, melanated people or people of quote unquote color or power. But they sold me the American dream and let me know that this ain't my spot. This ain't my house. That's their house. If I want to talk about these things, go get my own house. And that's how it was presented to me too, in so many, so many words. And that was a valuable lesson for me. If I want to do what I want to do, I got to get my own business. I got to create my own. We're creators at the end of the day. We're creators. So it's not me to impose this, right? So we got to understand balance as well. So this is what thinking big. And the more you tap into spirit, the more these things start to be uncovered. And a lot of times they're going to be uncovered in people, and they're going to be difficult lessons for us these next 3 weeks. I want you to understand that. There's going to be people that are going to say things you don't like. There's going to be people that are going to say things that piss you off. Maybe your lover, it may be your parents, it may be your friends, it may be somewhere in the street, right? You're going to have to evaluate these things from a clear lens and not from the lens of your conditioning. You're going to have to take these things back at the end of the day and sit in silence and think about them and see, do they really make sense? And not just thinking offense or defense. But really, do these make sense for me? And understand if they don't, they don't. But really mine it out, right? This is creative work we're talking about. So think big, y'all. Think big. Rest in power to Big Papa. So let's go into the diddler, all right? Let's go into the diddler. Sean Puffy Combs, all right? Diddy investigated for sex trafficking. Let me put this view like this. So Diddy investigated for sex trafficking, okay? So let's talk about this from the frame And actually, let's go into it. Just if you don't know, if you've been under a rock, Sean Diddy Combs is being investigated by multiple agencies for alleged sex trafficking and sexual assault. Homeland Security investigations raided Combs' Los Angeles home Monday, according to Rolling Stone and Los Angeles news station Fox 11. Agents also searched Combs' Miami residence Monday, Rolling Stone, NBC News, and the Associated Press reported. The Bad Boy Records is facing multiple lawsuits filed in recent months. Over the past few decades, Combs has denied all accusations against him. All right. Now, what I feel is interesting in talking about the Eclipse is that these investigations were also were in Los Angeles and Miami. So the solar eclipse is going to be making an X. It's going to be making an X, right? So this spanning from Los Angeles to Miami, to me, is representative of that cross-country power of the solar eclipse and it happening on the day of the lunar eclipse in this particular eclipse season, right? So just more signs and symbols. Now, when you talk about your shadow self, right? Right, or we talk about what Diddy's doing, right? There's a theme that's in play. So let's look at the theme, right? Let's start from R. Kelly. R. Kelly went down because of sexual inappropriateness, right? Let's put it like that, right? Sexual inappropriateness. The next person, big to go down, Bill Cosby. Again, sexual inappropriateness, right? Let's not forget the Catholic priest who's been exposed, but they haven't gone down because they got too much power. But they accused and publicly accused sexual inappropriateness from the priest, right? Let's look at Will Smith, right? What was he being crucified for? Sexual inappropriateness. Well, really Jada, but Will's on their open relationship or whatever, sexual inappropriateness, right? Is what he was getting clowned for, letting Jada basically take advantage of him, right? Now we have Puffy, all right, sexual inappropriateness. And just today, this Jupiter day, Thursday, well, it's Friday now, but Thursday, we had 50 Cent's baby mother, Daphne Joy, say that he was engaged in sexual inappropriateness, right? Now, as a Scorpio myself, right? We all have a dark side. Scorpios are a little bit more in tune with the dark side than others, right? We're a little bit more into the depths of things and mysteries, sciences, also sexuality, right? Not to say we're superior or anything, or anything like that. It's just our archetypal function, right? Our archetypal dominance. Puffy is also a Scorpio, right? Now, when the things came out with Cassie, and they said what he was doing to Cassie as far as being jealous and overprotective and blew up Kid Cudi's car. Being a young savage Scorpio, myself at one point, I believe it. I understand it. It makes sense, right? But unevolved Scorpio is very, very jealous, very, very possessive, and could be highly controlling and manipulative, right? That's my dark side. That's my dark side, right? I have to understand that exists, and I have to control it, but I cannot reject it and act like it doesn't exist, right? Another thing, right? Besides the quote unquote negative aspects of that is sex keeps coming up in these things, right? So this is what we have to look at, right? There are men, there are women that like certain things in the bedroom, right? And they don't feel free enough to tell you. You might be married to a woman, been with her 8, 9 years, and you don't know that she likes being choked when she's riding you. Why? Because you have shamed her dark side in some way. You have shamed her. She may have expressed something to you that she was into, and you have shamed her, right? Vice versa, right? Right? You might be a man and you might be into something freaky. You know what I'm saying? Who knows what that is, right? And you told your girl and she laughed at you, right? So you said, I'm never going to do this with another woman again, right? And vice versa. A woman says, I'm never going to tell this to another man again. What happens with all this suppression, right? It creates a psychosis. And this psychosis now starts to play out in your real life where you want absolute control. And this is where the sexual deviancy comes in, because you're not allowed expression of who you are. What we need to do moving forward, this is something spiritual people don't talk about, but if you have a partner or if you're with your partner, you need to be with a partner that understands your sexual proclivities. You need to be with a partner that understands what you like to do sexually and what you're into and corresponds with that. And you also have to understand their proclivities and what they like to do and understand it. This will build a better relationship. But what's happening is people are not exploring each other's dark side and getting to know what each other's dark side is. And they're getting into these relationships, right? And then girl cheats, guy cheats, right? And of course, infidelity is not cool, right? But it's because nobody understands who the other person truly is. It's surface shit, right? It's what they show. You know, Diddy's this person that's always talking about God, always talking about love, always talking about the black man and how powerful the black man is, but he's the same person that was underpaying and was robbing his black artist. That's evil. That's trick knowledge, right? That's being shrewd, being clever, being cunning, right? That's what really evil is. Telling lies, right? Telling lies to your vision, selling you dreams, right? That's what evil is. Being straight up is like, look, you know what I'm saying? Say you like your booty ate. Look, I like my booty ate. You know what I'm saying? Are you ready to do that? I'm not saying me. I'm just saying hypothetically, I want to get clipped. I ain't gonna tell y'all in public what I like sexually, but I'm just saying that hypothetically. You like your booty ate, right? You with a girl, tell her that's what you like. You know what I'm saying? If she can't accept you for who you truly are, then you in a prison. You're not in a relationship. You know what I'm saying? You're not being real with your partner. Be real with your partner. If you're in a relationship with somebody, and allow them to be real with you and have these conversations that make sense. You understand? Because this is how we get to a true understanding and get to the root of who we truly are and get out of the surface shit, right? And this allows us to create even on a higher level, because when you are sexually stimulated to the maximum point, that's highly creative energy, right? You know, if you've ever been with a woman as a man, if you've ever been with a woman that hasn't had sex for a while and you put it on her, that next day, you know what I'm saying? She's going to come back to you and tell you what type of day she had. And it's usually a great ass day. It's usually the people around her are happier. You know what I'm saying? It's usually, you know, everything is brighter, right? She wants to do more for you, you know? It's creative energy, and that's where babies come from. So it's the highest form of creative energy, right? Now, let's get back to the psychosis, right? The psychosis of not tapping into the shadow is, and not tapping into the understanding of your dark side, right? Oh, I can be controlling. Oh, I can be manipulative. All right, let me see why I'm doing that. What's the reasons behind that, right? Like I used to be me personally, right? Keep it real with y'all. I used to be extremely jealous. My early 20s, super jealous, extremely jealous, right? If somebody got a story out there, got stories actually, super hyper jealous. But why was I jealous? I was jealous because I was insecure, right? I had all this knowledge of everything in the black community and what the black world should do and what the government is doing, right? I've always been smart, right? But What I didn't have is self-confidence. What I didn't have is belief in myself. So I would feel threatened by other men that I thought were better than me, that I thought looked better, that I thought acted better, right? Because I didn't understand the gifts and the power within myself. And over time, through doing that self analysis and self investigation of the shadow, I was able to say, nah, I'm not going to, that's not who I want to be. That's not what I want to reflect out into the world. That's not the way I want to behave. That's not the way I want to act. But it's through the analysis and self creation, right? Going back to that amen part, the darkness, right? Creating what you want to look like and what you want to behave like, and taking that image into meditation, feeling it, acting it out. This is the power of spirit, breath work. Spirit, again, means breath. This is something you have to do on this path. If you're sincere, if you just want to know a lot of shit and read a lot of books, that's fine. You know what I'm saying? I'm not here to stop you. My job is to tell people what the truth is. And you're going to have to tap into meditation some way, somehow, in order to really change and transform your behavior and kill certain habits, right? It's the only way it's going to work. Or you're going to be controlled by something outside of yourself, whether it's drugs, whether it's pills for depression, whether it's alcoholism, whether it's weed, whether it's mushrooms, right? You're always going to need something outside of yourself to get you to who you are. And who you are, everything is on you. The cannabinoid system is within you. The DMT that mushrooms tap into is within you. The alcohol, the part of you, spirits, alcohol is called spirits. It puts you in a different vibration. That's within you. All these things are within you. I'm not saying that you have to cut everything cold turkey, because some things are used a lot of times, quote unquote, drugs are used for sacrament in religious situations and spiritual situations, in order to increase your vibration, increase your frequency, increase your energetic output, and increase your programming ability, self-programming yourself and recreating yourself. But the shadow is something that needs to be explored to understand. My Aries season is I am. And remember, we were talking about I-480, right? Being the zodiac. So it all ties in. Who are you? So don't just look at Puffy and what he's going through, right? I don't know if he's sex trafficking. It seems he hasn't been arrested. His passport hasn't been suspended, right? And also, I understand that there's a concerted effort always to destroy the melanated male image, right? That's COINTELPRO 101, right? There's a concerted effort to do that. They didn't do this I didn't see them raiding Epstein Island like this. I didn't see them raiding, what's his name, the director. Woody Allen, I don't see them raiding his home. I don't see them, I forgot the director that you could put in the chat if you know what I'm talking about. The one that Dame Dash smacked. I can see his face. I can't remember his name, but I didn't see them raiding his home. Like any one of these, right? Dan Schneider. I don't see them raiding Dan Schneider's home. I don't see them raiding any of these other Caucasians that have been in collusion of literally dealing with sexual activity. Even if you talk about Jonathan Majors, what was his downfall, right? Bunny hopping. Nah, I'm sure. Nah, nature knows no color line. I ain't with that. But I'm joking. But I mean, his interactions with her, and his not being able to be himself, right? And the challenges, he should have been left her alone. Once he started running, like that should have been his red flag to know that, okay, that bridge needs to fall. So understanding who you truly are and what you truly are and the people that you are around, right? Of course, there's things that you display in the real world, so to speak, when you put on your, your mask, so to speak, to deal with people in the real world. But when you have people that you're close to, right, you want these people to understand you. You want these people to value for who you are. You don't want to have frenemies. You don't want to have fake friends, because you're a fake friend. If you have fake friends, you're a fake friend too, right? Whatever you surround yourself with, you are. Whatever you surround yourself with, you are. Whatever you choose is who you are. So create the life that you want to live, right? By changing and coming to develop. This is what spirituality and magic is really about. It's about you being walking magic and you creating whatever reality you want for yourself and you being able to tap into whatever archetype on the zodiac wheel at will by yourself. But you have to have willpower, right? You have to have willpower. You have to have self-control. You have to control the animal within. And that's what the shadow work is about. And Puffy didn't do his shadow work. Bill Cosby didn't do his shadow work. The Catholic priest didn't do their shadow work. Right? And not doing the shadow work develops a psychosis to where you want to control things and control people's behavior and manipulate people to get what you want because you're not being true to yourself. So understand your shadow, understand the aspects of it that you need to heal and transform those at will. All right. So that's how I look at it. Right. But I'm not cheering. Don't cheer for people going down because you're cheering for yourself going down as well. It's part of the collective consciousness. Amen. So let's go into, oh shit, hold up. Let me pull this back up. How y'all doing? Y'all all right? Word to Bobby Hemmett. Y'all all right? Let me share this with y'all because everything is being exposed right now. We all know that. We all see that. Things are being exposed and let's share this again and we'll go back. Let me just make sure. Okay. We'll go here. Now we also see this, right? Dealing with the shadow again. Quiet on set, right? These pedophiles, right? On these Nickelodeon shows, right? Everything is coming to the light right now because this is people darkness, right? These are people's animals, right? And the shadow is also has some animal. Don't think you don't have any animal in you, right? It's all about you understanding how to control that animal. This is what the Cometians, our ancient ancestors, right, used as a symbol to show you what shadow work really looks like. This is what shadow work really looks like. I'll give you a visual. This is what shadow work looks like. The Sphinx. Man mastering his animal nature. Man mastering his lower nature. If you look at the crown of the Sphinx, right, you see it has these, this like opening, right? It looks like a pyramid, like a triangle as well, right? But that represents the alignment of the left and the right brain, right? And how you align the left and the right brain is through more blood flowing through what you call the corpus callosum in the brain, which is the middle part of the brain. The way you do that is through meditation, breath work, right? There's something called Dumo breathing or fire breathing, right? There's different breath modalities, right, that you could tap into. Even yoga is a form of breath work. Qigong is a form of breath work, right? There's different martial arts. There's a form of breath work in that, right? But these are when you tap into, as Ultra Instinct was saying, trance states. And these trance states allow you to change and reprogram behavior, program and reprogram behavior. And this is when you get into this Sphinx state to where you are able to now manage your lower desires, tame them, right? And put them under submission to the God in you, right? And this is what the work that a lot of these men need, right? This is the work that a lot of these men need, but it's not happening. They're not tapping into the shadow because there's a reason why. Why am I insecure? From my childhood, right? Why was I insecure and jealous? Let's go back to me, right? I don't mind being vulnerable. Why was I insecure? Because of my childhood. Because I had a parent that didn't affirm me. I had a parent that told me I was not going to be anything. I had a parent that said these things to me on a regular basis. They didn't understand the effect it had on me, being a Cancer rising, and how it affected my emotion. But this parent kept saying this thing over and over to me. So even though I was tall, even though I was making a certain amount of money, even though I was, doing my thing and whatever, could pull women and all these things, I was still insecure because that program was still running in my head, right? That animal was still being fed within my constant repetition of thoughts. So once I tapped into that, I said, oh, okay, this is where this comes from. This is the seed of it. This is the animal, the demon that I got to face. So I got to go into the darkness, go into Amenta is what the Egyptians really called it, the land of Amenta, where the Akashic records are, and the astral realm where you're dreaming and all these things, these cosmic things that we talk about, and reprogram my vision of myself and program myself with confidence, with affirmations, with visualizations, with things that affirm me on a regular basis. And over time, brick by brick, right, you start to rebuild yourself. So these things, so there's a reason why people are pedophiles. Believe it or not, people aren't just born that way. There's something as a trigger, and whatever sexual deviancy you have, there's a trigger that needs to be explored, right? And this is what the gods, the real healers, right, the real spiritual beings are here to do. We're not here to judge, right? Even if you talk about Christ consciousness, Jesus was with the whores, Jesus was with the prostitutes, Jesus was with the hustlers, Jesus was with the thugs of his day, right? We're not here to judge, we're here to heal, we're here to transform. But first and foremost, we have to start with the self. And that will reflect out into others. Let's go into, all right, where we at? So that's a visualization. Whenever you see the Sphinx, you can always think that's a visualization of what shadow work really looks like. Self-mastery really looks like. So you have this show, Quiet on the Set, right? Where they're basically exposing, again, the dark side of kids' TV, all right? There's a reason these things are coming out around now, this particular eclipse season, right? To show you what things really are versus the perception of what we've been told. Remember, the bridge, Francis Scott Key Bridge, right? The home of the brave, right? Land of the free. All that is propaganda. All that is American propaganda, right? America is not the land of the free. It's the land of the fee, F-E-E, and the home of, not the brave, the home of the slave, all right? That's what America really is beyond the marketing, okay? Yeah, you can make a living financially, but even the word a living, right? Just because you have financial success doesn't mean that you're living, right? And again, I wish all of you to hit your financial goals and dreams. I've lived many parts of my life, thankfully, to experience different things. Wealth, success, poverty, right? Non-poverty, middle classness, all that, right? And you'll see once you get a certain level of finance that that's not enough to make you happy. But that's what America sells you, right? So that's why there's Quiet on Set. Now, I didn't see this documentary series, but I'm sure that there's parents that knew what was going on and still allowed it. I.e., how did Aaliyah, right? How did Aaliyah get married to R. Kelly at the age that she was? I think she was, 15, 16 or something like that? If the parents didn't know. You know? How does Woody Allen have a child, a 13-year-old child that he married, and the parents just give him up? So there's a lot of quiet on the set, right? There's a lot of things people will do for money. There's a lot of things people will do when they're down and out, which will tap into that dark side. And these are your spiritual tests to see who you really and truly are, right? Are you really a divine being? Are you really, really, really tapped into your higher self? And know that just your thoughts, just your emotions, right, are enough to change the world and anyone else is in it. Because most people don't know this. Most people are moving just on what they've been told. You know, they're moving on just what they feel, but they don't understand that they have the control of the universe within their hands. Let's go to BRICS. So BRICS is popping right now. All right. So the same day that this happened, BRICS, okay, was doing their thing. All right. So these are recent. I guess it refreshed on me. But BRICS is making $5 billion in loans in 2024. BRICS is, and there was an article where this is one. This is the one. Let me make sure y'all can see it. All right, let me blow this up. So BRICS is ready to launch a CBDC and challenge BRICS currency. So CBDC is central bank digital currency, all right, i.e. crypto, all right? So they're ready to launch a cryptocurrency, right? This is SWIFT. Now SWIFT, if you know, they had the Fed Now thing where everybody was scared and Fed Now is going to change everything. Well, Fed Now is here and ain't shit changed, right? Your checks are still coming the same way they come. You still Cash App and PayPal and all that, right? So the Fed Now thing was a whole bunch of hype, right? But people tapped into it because, again, people like to be scared and they like to, and it's a conditioning, again, it's shadow work that has to be done to understand why you're scared, why you're fearful. What was it about your childhood growing up that made you fearful and not feel safe? And understanding as an adult, you have the ability to do and feel safe no matter what happens. But SWIFT is ready to launch CBDC and challenge BRICS currency. So the global bank messaging system, SWIFT, is planning to launch a new central bank digital currency. The SWIFT CBDC is a significant development in the change of financial landscape that is looking to uproot the US dollar's hegemony. The new digital ecosystem is currently in its nascent that's beginning and could be launched in the next 12 to 24 months. The development puts the SWIFT CBDC in direct competition to challenge the yet to be released BRICS currency. So there's something online I saw where they're saying that April 1st, BRICS is starting their currency. That's not true. There's nothing that I've seen that correlates with that, where they're launching their own dollar and their own crypto. They're not, and they haven't. That was just on TikTok. But what they're saying is, and what this is important is, he said that Nick Kerrigan, and listen to this, all right, because this is going to get you some money if you tapped in. Swift's heads of innovation. This is the head of innovation for SWIFT, right? SWIFT is how all the money is moved, right, in America and through other countries right now, right? So this is the head of innovation, right? Change and transition is the theme of Bridges, okay? Newness, new beginnings is the theme of Bridges, all right? So this will help you get some paper too. Confirmed that a new CBDC currency, crypto, is on the cards. Therefore, the next 2 years. So how Buster used to say, you got 2 years left, 5 years left before 2000. All right. So the next, some of y'all too young to remember that. But Buster Rhymes used to always say on his albums, there's only 5 years left, or there's only 2 years left before the year 2000, right? Because everybody thought in 2000 Y2K was going to come and mess up everything financial and reverse all the things back. Nothing happened. So therefore, the next 2 years could put the Western financial system on the course of recovery in a de-dollarized world. In 2 years, trades in the SWIFT system could be settled in CBDC currencies, giving BRICS a reality check. So to translate this, what they're basically saying is BRICS is coming out with a CBDC. They're coming out with their own crypto. In fact, if you look at study or look at world news, you see there's a lot of countries that don't even work with dollars anymore. They're working with cryptocurrencies, right? This is why crypto is on the rise, all right? And basically what he's saying is that in 2 years, this is going to be a reality, right? It's going to be a de-dollarized world. So, trades in the SWIFT system are going to be in CBDC currencies because they have to compete with the BRICS, which is Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, all right? And there's more countries that have been coming into the BRICS as well, besides these big five, all right? It says, apart from SWIFT, nearly 90% of the world's central banks are exploring CBDCs, and a few of them have started pilot runs. CBDCs could usher the world into a new financial era, and the West wants to be ahead of BRICS in this segment. All right. So look, their BRICS is coming. All right. They're creating their own currency, and America's going to have to fight. All right. So what do you want to do? Invest in some crypto. Learn what crypto is. All right. Invest in some Bitcoin. I told somebody a couple of months ago to invest in crypto, right? And showed them, to go to Coinbase or whatever, put some money in crypto. And that shit already doubled. They put 500 in, that shit's already doubled plus, you know? Now, I know people are struggling going through what they have to, but maybe sacrifice them sneakers, maybe sacrifice, some of your habits or whatever. Put $100 a month, right? Put a little something in and start building your crypto. Learn about it. Start watching those videos and stop watching our videos about Puffy and our 2, 3, 4 hour videos about, demolitions on bridges and what the government's going to do next and the secret societies and all that, right? Start watching things that are going to empower you, right? Because you're going to need fun. You're going to need finance. I don't care what nobody says, right? People try to act like spirituality has nothing to do with finance, but nobody spiritual wants to be broke. The people that tell you not to worry about money, they all got classes, they all got courses, right? They all selling products, right? But they'll tell you money doesn't mean anything. So in church, if money is the root of all evil, why the fuck y'all always asking for money then? Why y'all always passing the collection plate if money is the root of all evil? Why always taking donations if money is the root of all evil, right? So again, they're saying within 2 years, everything's going to be crypto. I'm just showing you what it is. I'm just showing you the future, folks. It's up to you. Next, we have what's coming as well. All right. There's dengue fever. I talked about this in January. I've been following this myself. All right. So it says Puerto Rico. This is a fever that's been rising in South America. All right. But it says Puerto Rico has, hold up. Why did it just stop presenting? Let me do this. Give me 1 second. All right, there it is. So it says Puerto Rico develops public health emergency after rise in dengue fever cases. Okay. So it says Puerto Rico, which is right here, all right, has declared an epidemic as the number of dengue cases continue to rise. At least 549 cases have been reported so far, and more than 340 people have been hospitalized, according to the island's health department. As of March 21st, the Department of Health epidemiological surveillance of diseases have observed 140 increase in dengue cases for Puerto Rico compared to the same period last year. All right. So this is basically what dengue fever happens is you get a mosquito bite. That's it. You get a mosquito bite and you get this wild fever, which leads to vomiting, headaches, all sorts of things. So what is dengue fever? Dengue fever is a potential deadly viral infection that comes from mosquitoes and is transmitted to humans. Typically, the virus is more common in tropical and subtropical areas. Some people that are infected with the virus won't experience symptoms at all. However, people who do have symptoms experience a high fever, headache, body aches, nausea, or rash. All right. So I believe when the summer comes, right, you're going to start seeing, and the more migrants continue to spread across this city, these cities and these states, right? Because if you look, right, this is again on March 25th. This is recent. Both of these are this week, right? Latin America faces unprecedented dengue outbreak. All right. So people are getting hospitalized for this. Okay. Now, I don't watch the news, but I do know that people usually repeat the news on social media. I don't see people talking about this, but if you see it in Latin America and people from Latin America are coming here, right, as migrants, and they're occupying all these cities, these dense cities where there's a lot of melanated people, then this thing is going to spread, especially when it starts to get warmer around the states, right? Once May starts to hit and June's to hit, right? Right now it's still kind of cold here in New York, but when it starts to get hot, right, this thing is gonna start to move, and you see how they're looking, right? And this is, a big thing. And I pointed out in another video how Bill Gates Foundation has actually put something in mosquitoes in the year 2020, injected mosquitoes with supposedly some antiviral vaccine in mosquitoes. You can look this up yourself, right? So I'm not surprised that this is happening, right? And a lot of people are dying from this in South America, but it's just not hitting here. So it says today, according to the WHO, the region of Americas accounts for 80% of dengue cases, has seen an increase in cases over the last 4 decades, rising from 1 million in the 1980s to 16.2 million in the 2010-2019. Wow. The year 2023 broke the record with 4 million cases, including 7,653 and 2,340 deaths. So in 2044, the scenario is already looking much more deadly. All right, so look out for that. Take care of yourselves, okay? And what I want to do is, I don't know how old some of y'all are or your ages, but yeah, exactly. Disease X, right? That's the disease X that they could be talking about. So, keep that in mind. Keep your health up. Keep your health up. All right. Take your fruits, drink your teas. Dandelion tea is a good tea to drink now. Flush your liver. What you call it? Burdock root, clean your blood. What's that one you said, Ultra, the other day? I actually have it. I just got a box based on what you told me. I bought some herbs. Oh, moringa root, right? Get you some of those teas, man, to prepare yourself so that you're not out here sick and coughing and hospitalized, right? And Heroes, all right? I don't know if y'all remember Heroes, but Heroes was a show where they had a solar eclipse, okay? And during this solar eclipse, what happened is during the solar eclipse, everybody started getting superpowers. Everybody started getting superpowers. So imagine, instead of being scared, right? Instead of listening to the media give you all these warnings about cell phone towers going out and computers going out and, people turning into zombies and, evil coming into the world and all these things that these people are trying to trigger you with. Imagine if you believe that you'll get superpowers. Imagine if your clairvoyance, your ability to see and perceive things, comes online. Imagine if your clairaudience, your ability to hear spirits and talk to your ancestors, your dead auntie, mama, cousin, friend, comes online. Imagine if your clairsentience, your ability to touch people and feel their energy and know if they're good for you or bad for you just by a handshake, comes online. And whatever other superpowers you want to have come online. Isn't that a better idea? Isn't that a better reality for you than to think that the world is going to end or leave the world behind movie type of event is going to happen? Now, you may say, Ra, you're delusional. Everything is positive. Everything is great in your life, but that's not the world I lived in. That's not the reality that I live in. Bad things happen. Bad things happen to me. Bad things happen to everybody on the planet. Life is a journey. It is a hero's journey. It is a video game. You're going to fight enemies. You're going to have boss level enemies. You're going to have boss level challenges. This is the life for all of us, right? But it's not what happens to you. It's how you react to what happens to you. It's not what's done to you. It's what you create after something happens to you. And there's no spiritual protection that you could get away from. I don't care how many evil eye bracelets you wear, right? I don't care how much evil eye earrings you have on, how much black tourmaline, how much shungite, which I got shungite on now, that you wear, that you will avoid an unfortunate event happening in your life, that you will avoid tragedy, that you will avoid somebody trying to play with you, that you will avoid challenges, that you will avoid ascending. You cannot avoid hardship in life. What these things do allow these things to be less prevalent and allow it, because basically black tourmaline, shungite, these are dark crystals. Onyx, right? They absorb light. So somebody's negative energy is light, right? So it absorbs that. But this doesn't mean that's not going to come. It's what you do with it, right? It's how you manipulate that ball of energy, right? A lot of times when people be beefing, like I'm online and people be beefing, they be dead serious. I be laughing now. You know what I'm saying? I'll laugh dead at them. You know what I'm saying? Especially when it's like gender war shit. I'll be laughing. I'll laugh you off you feel so stupid for trying to argue with me. Because I'm just gonna laugh you off the table. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna laugh you through the comments, right? Don't take it seriously. Don't allow it to affect it emotionally. And I know that's difficult, but again, that's where the shadow work comes in. Why is it so offensive? And there's times I get caught up too with things that triggering or whatever. But then I gotta catch myself and ask myself, why did this trigger me? And this goes with daily reviews and things like that. And this is why we wear these crystals and these ornaments and do this work so that we could have self-control, right? But the best vision is to have that my powers, my spiritual powers, my superhuman abilities, my superhero abilities are going to come online. My superhero abilities affirm that. Affirm that. These next couple of weeks, affirm that my superhero abilities will come online. This eclipse in 2017, a couple of weeks after 2017 eclipse, what I did was, and I'm going to the same spot that I was 2017, right? This eclipse. 2017, when looked at I looked directly at the eclipse, right? No glasses, none of that, right? That's not for you, especially melanated beings, right? We see colors and light different, right? That's why we be wearing brighter reds and bright yellows and bright oranges. When other cultures, they wear like earth tones, right? They're not as bright, they're not as bold, because melanin allows you to see colors different because it is the source of all colors. So the more melanin you have, the brighter the colors you see, the more frequencies you have access to. So being born in a melanated vehicle, avatar, is a privilege. Not to say people of other cultures don't have access to their own powers as well, but it is a privilege, all right? So what powers will you activate? So going back to 2017, right? I'm looking, right? I'm looking as much as I could take, looking at the eclipse, right? Absorbing the light, or the darkness, I should say. Closing my eyes. I had a vision in my head, right, of me tapping into super spiritual powers, right? Doing it again for the 2 or 3 minutes, right? A couple weeks later, I had my first Kundalini awakening. All right, I started feeling fire come out my spine. My body got hot, and I started tapping into clairvoyant abilities, right? Out of nowhere. So this will happen to a lot of you if you follow this blueprint, right? So I advise you to look at it if you can. If not, meditate. If you feel like you need to meditate and go within and cure some things and heal some things, do that. You feel like you want to tap into some superpowers, do that, right? But there is a way, your spirit is only going to allow you to unlock certain things based on your frequency. So only you know your true frequency. Only you know the way you truly are and the way you truly behave and what you truly need to work on and what character development you truly need to have, right? And how strong your will really is. Because willpower has nothing to do with emotional energy. Willpower, in fact, right? The urge to do something can be so strong, right? For instance, say working out, right? There's times you don't want to go to the gym, or you don't want to work out, or you don't want to make this move. But what happens is you have a vision planted in your head that's saying, I want to look like this in the summer, or I want to look like this when I take this trip, or I just want to look like this, period, so I could feel better, right? So that vision keeps you going, despite of the feeling of wanting to lay down and relax and eat hot Cheetos, right? And drink Kool-Aid. So that's what willpower really is, but that comes through programming over time, programming, brick by brick, step by step. Spirituality is a daily operation. It's not something you could do on just Sunday or just Tuesday or just Thursday. It's something that you have to do and have rituals on a day-to-day basis that empower you, right? That raise your vibration. Laughter is a powerful, magical tool that people don't talk about, because laughter raises your vibration. I was laughing the other night, right? Broke my 90-day fast, smoked some weed. I was watching some funny shit. Started laughing, coughing, all sorts of phlegm and mucus running out my nose. I was laughing so hard, right? That's magic. That's healing, right? That's healing 101. You know what I'm saying? What do you read every day? Like every day I try to read something. Again, I'm not better than anybody. I've been through the roads. I'm just giving you from my experience and wisdom, right? Every day, right? Even if you're going to take a shit, right? Have a book in your bathroom that you can open up and read, right? And learn something from. That's going to help you grow. Now that I told you about crypto, and that crypto is a guaranteed, CBDC is guaranteed sometime within the next 2 years. So now you know you're ahead of the curve. You're ahead of 90% of people out here right now. I just showed you. Go back and rewind it. How can I get, what can I do? Do I need to work Uber after work? Do I need to start door dashing after work? All right. Do I have to start a side business? What can I do so I can save up enough money so I can invest in some Bitcoins? You know, what videos can I watch? How can I learn what the blockchain is, right? Or you could go back to watching hours of Netflix, hours of other people's movies, right? Hours of these series and decoding them so you could be smarter than your friend. And you could talk shit on the internet, and you could be the most enlightened person at your job, or the smartest person on your block. That's up to you, right? Gods are here to grow into divinity, into their higher self, and their higher self is mental, emotional, financial, and spiritual, and physical, right? It's overall self-mastery is godhood. And this allows you to tap into higher abilities as well. But you're not just going to get it by having an altar and putting herbs together. Yes, you can manipulate reality in those ways, but to be walking magic, to have nothing and manifest everything and manipulate everything, and to get the downloads and the voice in your head that tells you to do this and not to do that, and make this move and not to make that move, to watch this and not watch that, to listen to this and not listen to that. There's nothing better than that. It's nothing better than getting a download that you didn't have to think about, and it's right on time. This is the level that we all want to get to, and we all should be striving for. So, you know, use joy to power your visions and your purpose. And another thing, accept confrontation. Like, don't be scared. Don't be pussy. Like, accept that you're going to be challenged, especially these couple of weeks. There's going to be people that's going to challenge who you are and what you claim to be and who you claim to be and your character. And review those things. Don't just get mad initially. Say, okay, even if somebody's tearing you up, all right, that's how you feel? Okay. I'm going to think about that and really think about it. And if it makes sense, maybe it does. Write it down, write about it, have a journal. If it doesn't, then let it fly. But you're going to be challenged. It's going to be challenged. I'm telling you, you're going to be challenged. So you be prepared for that. And cut off anything that takes you away from your godhood and your highest self. All right. You want to tap into your superhero energy is your ability to use your will power. Your willpower has nothing to do with your emotions. To tap into that willpower and say no. To set up boundaries. to set up boundaries. All right. There's people out here who could tell you what to do with a candle and this and that and boom, boom. You know, there's plenty of channels for that. I'm here to tell you how to achieve spiritual self-mastery, whether you have a candle burning or not. How to influence people from all the way in other states, even other countries, simply by the power of your mind and your rate of breathing. That's the level you want to get to, where if you're in a situation where you have no tools, you are the ultimate tool, because it all comes from within yourself. But you have to be willing to reach that level of self-mastery. And last but not least, go to a little bit of space weather. And we had a X-class solar flare pop off. Actually, let me refresh this. Let's see. So we had an X-class solar flare yesterday. So by Friday, Saturday, this energy should be hitting the planet. All right. And remember, we just had a lunar eclipse earlier this week. So the energy is here. That Aries fire is here to help us make the changes that we need to make. So let's tap into this universal wave of energy and create the world we want to see, and spread, this, not just the video. I mean, I appreciate you spreading the video, but spread this vibration. When people are telling you this is going to happen on the planet, like, reject that shit. Like, when the eclipse is going to happen, say, nah, not me. I don't know what's going to happen out there, but I'm going to tap into my spiritual powers. Like, all that cell phone shit going down and all that, nah, not mine. My cell phone going to be working. And if my cell phone doesn't work, I'm going to tap into my cell's phone and tap into my higher self, to my highest vision of myself and the highest visions of what I want to manifest here in this world and how I want to be in service here on the planet. I'm not going to fall into the vision of what the people think or my fears, right? I'm going to visualize over these next 2 weeks me going over a bridge and being safe and sound and nothing happening, so that I don't carry this vision when the lunar eclipse happens, right? And past that, or the solar eclipse, happens. And remember, the solar eclipse is also in Aries. So it's in Aries during Aries season, right? Aries is the initiator, right? It is the ram energy, right? It is a fire sign, and it is ruled by Mars, but Aries rules the head. Aries rules the head. It's the mind. So your mind's eye is activated, not only through the solar flares, not only through the lunar eclipse, right? But there's a lot of energy that is here for you to ride the wave. Remember the example, those of you who've been with me for the first hour, where I talked about when you put the rubber ducky in water, talking about the bridge burning event. When you put the rubber ducky in water, you can't control where the rubber ducky's going to go, right? But let's say you put the rubber ducky in the bathtub, right? And you put it right next to the faucet, right? You know, when you put that rubber ducky right next to the faucet, it's going to shoot, right? It's going to shoot out. So this is what riding the wave of nature, being one with nature, being one with the solar movements, the planetary movements, the lunar movements. This is why we do this, not to be cool, not to sound smart, but to be one with nature's power, to be one with the all, which is nature. That's why there's billions of Orishas, That's why the ancient Africans had gods for everything. God for the sun, God for the moon, God for the rain, God for droughts, God for cunning, God for water, gods for earth, gods for grain, gods for soil, gods for trees, gods for everything, right? Because everything is divine. Everything is divine. Everything in nature is divine, including you. So you just have to tap into your creative power and say, no, I'm not going to buy into the world is going to be a leave the world behind event. I'm going to be part of the collective consciousness that creates the reality that I want to see. And the people around me, part of that consciousness. And then so start with you, start with the people you surround yourself with, friends and family, and then go out into the planet with your visualization of what you want to see the world be for you. And so it shall be. And enough of us do that, we'll create, remember the X, well, we'll get into the lunar eclipse when the time comes. But I appreciate you not wasting, but spending your time with me and tapping in. You can hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that subscribe button. Anybody has any questions? I don't see any. And I appreciate y'all hanging around. This is a long video. We get out of here soon. But and like this hat says, mind your business. All right. I don't see any questions, but mind your business. All right. Mind your business. What is your business, right? What is your work? What is your purpose? Find that, mind that, focus on that, put more energy into that than you do what's happening to Puffy and what's happening to these celebrities and the negative events that people are trying to conjure into your mind, right? Mind your business. Your business. What is your business, right? We see what's up ahead. Honestly, the thing y'all should be focused on is crypto. What the fuck is going on? How can I understand cryptocurrency and how it works and how it could be spent? Those are the things you want to focus on now, right? Because we all want to be financially stable, right? No matter what happens in the world, even if you got a fleet, you're going to need some money to do it. So figure out how that works, right? Figure out what a cold wallet is. Understand how currency moves, right? Currency moves through energy. The energy you put out, right? Whatever energy you put out for finance is going to bring back finance, right? So if you're doing like today was Thursday, you should have some financial ritual, right? Even if it's just a financial playlist with I get money, throw up some commas, right? Money getting songs, right? Paid in full, right? These, like I got a money playlist that I play on Thursday, right? To put me in that vibration. Jupiter is a day of abundance, right? Of growth. So I want to keep growing my money, right? So I'm in that. I also have a financial altar where I burn paper money, right? Not literal money, but play money. I burn that on my altar, right? And I have other symbols that correspond to money and finance, right? And so far, so good, nigga. This is the real magic, all right? Being focused, minding your business, right? I could be watching 12 hours of Netflix, playing 40 hours of video games like everybody else. And I'm not saying I don't do that. There's days where I have a whole Sunday or Saturday where I'm doing nothing but watching movies and TV. But I have more days when I'm doing my work and my visions. I have more days when I'm studying and reading and learning. I have more videos that I'm watching. They're not entertainment, that are not about somebody else's business and are about the business that I want to get into and the things that I want to learn and the way I want to grow and the things I want to change. Peace, power, and prosperity. Rob Blackstone. I love y'all. Oh, actually, nah, I'll leave y'all with that. Peace.